But some people that know and recognize, they understand when they know that, how can I put this to Sandra? Real recognizes real. And Dr. Monique Swift is the proprietor of Swift Solutions Consulting Services, LLC. She's a psychologist, a New Jersey licensed professional counselor, and a New York licensed mental health counselor. She has over 20 years of clinical experience in the field of mental health and operates a private practice in Norway, New Jersey, where she specializes in couples therapy and trauma. In addition to her clinical work, Dr. Swift also offers keynote talks, curriculum design, personal development workshops, and professional training. She consults with religious community-based and nonprofit organizations, public and private schools, as well as with private groups. As a trauma expert, she offers consultations to organizations that want to become trauma-informed. She furthermore specializes in issues that form at the intersection of trauma and race. Dr. Swift is actively involved in racial, social justice efforts and initiatives. Her extensive volunteer work typically benefits the Black community specifically and oppressed and underserved populations in general. Her volunteer activity often involves grassroots and civic organizing, personal and community empowerment building, and addressing issues of racial inequality and racial trauma. Dr. Swift serves as a member of the Board of Advisors for Volunteers of America, the North Community Collaborative Board, Torchlight Educational Academy, and the Union County Juvenile Conference Committee under the Family Division of the Superior Court. And since 2014, she has also served as an executive board member for the New Jersey chapter of the Association of Black Psychologists and is immediate past president of the chapter. Dr. Swift additionally serves on the national board of the Association of Black Psychologists as Eastern Regional Representative. Dr. Swift's special interests include youth empowerment, race and social issues, and holistic health. I could go on and on because she's truly a mother. She is a wife. She is truly one of my dear friends in the Muslim. Listen, this is my Muslim for real. Y'all know how I am. This Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad is my brother in ministry. And y'all need to know that's my minister in the Muslim faith. Yes, I am rubbing around you, but in order for us to have a good mind and understand what mental health really means, you need to be able to clear your mind to receive what someone in the field really knows what they're talking about. So my mind is clear, my ears are open, I've received of the shifting, and I'm getting ready to receive Dr. Monique Swift along with you. Y'all put your hands together for Dr. Monique Swift.
Walaikum salam, ma'am.
Wow. I want to take a moment before I begin and acknowledge and thank Brother Renee. We all know I probably need not tell any of you that Renee has been a tried and true stalwart here in the city of Newark, New Jersey. She has labored for us in the city, and she has loved us in the city, and she couldn't labor like she does if she didn't love us, so we know that she loves us. And Sister Reverend Dr. Cynthia, my goodness, see, I felt that. I really felt that. Thank you. You laid a perfect base. Because, you know, I was, as the bio mentioned, I'm a mental health professional, and my area of expertise and interest is trauma. Right? And so I do a lot of teaching and talking, and even in practice, I deal with trauma. But I don't have a message on trauma for us today. I felt led, and when I do talks like this, I do let my spirit lead me. And what I felt led to talk about really is more spirit-based than it is what we say mental health. And I put that in quotes because we really can't divorce the spirit from the health, that mental and that physical. Right? And so we don't often think of them as being one, but please, I'm here to tell you, and I know you can very good, that it is one. And so as I was trying to prepare and reading what, and following what was leading me to talk, what I felt led to talk about is what I consider as the other side of trauma, if you will. And that is what researchers are now calling post-traumatic growth. Come on. Okay? Post-traumatic growth. And so I figured I should describe that by juxtaposing it to resilience. You spoke about resilience. And most of us are familiar with resilience. We know what resilience is. And essentially, resilience meaning that ability that we have to kind of bounce back from hardship, to bounce back from difficulty, right? And so resilience, metaphorically speaking, is that tree, if you will, that when the wind, the hardship blows on it, it bends, right? And it bends. But when the winds pass, that tree comes right back to its former state. It stands tall and strong as it did before the winds blew, right? But post-traumatic growth instead, on the other hand, post-traumatic growth is that tree that when the wind blows, the winds of hardship, the winds of difficulty blow on that tree, it bends, and it bends, and it bends, and then it breaks. How many of us have been broken by the hardships in our life? I know I have. But what ultimately ends up happening is that after time, right out of the broken end of that tree, sprouts a little bud. And then another little bud. And then another little bud. And then after a while, that tree grows back. And when it grows back, it's taller, it's stronger, it's more vibrant than it was even before the break. That is post-traumatic growth. Right? And so I'm speaking metaphorically here, but just a quick story. I was in the Gambia a couple of years ago, and I was standing there before this baobab tree, and in many African countries, baobab trees are revered and considered sacred, and they hope to be more than 50 feet in diameter, and live over 1,000 years. But here I am standing before this great baobab tree that had grown. But right out of the trunk of that tree had grown another tree, another baobab tree that was wider, bigger, taller than the one that had fallen. And so I'm speaking metaphorically, but this is real, right? This actually does and can happen. And so it's not just a metaphor, but what's the point here? I'm not really needing and intending to stand up here and talk about trees as much as I am here to talk about us as women. And so we, as women, Black women in particular, we have endured more than any other woman has endured on the face of the planet. As Black women, we are a broken woman. Yes. We are an abused woman. Oh, yeah. We are an overburdened woman. We are a misunderstood woman, an unappreciated woman, an underrecognized woman, an unseen woman, right? They don't see us. But yet, here we are. Here we are. Standing tall, standing strong, and we are beautiful in doing what we do. And so whenever we go through something in our lives, we come to the fire, and instead of burning us up, instead of the fire burning us up, it purifies us. We are experiencing post-traumatic growth. Okay? And so we all have to know that we all have the capacity to turn these tragedies, these traumas, into the triumph of post-traumatic growth. But how do we do this? Right? I just want to spend a quick moment on the how. What's key is that in the scenario, we'll go back to the tree for a moment. In the scenario that I gave, the tree was broken, but it had not been completely uprooted.
That's right.
Right? The tree was still connected to the source of its life.
Come on.
Right? And likewise, we have a permanent, unbreakable, inbred root that goes directly to the source of all life.
Come on.
Right? This is a root that will sustain us through any fire. We know what that root is.
Mm-hmm.
We know what that root is God, right? And so as long as we stay connected to the source, we can always be renewed. We
That's
can
right.
always be made new again. And so, sisters, we should be encouraged. Let's be encouraged that no matter how dark the hour, no matter how difficult the situation, no matter how heavy it is, there's always a light in darkness. And so we have to know that God, He will never forget us.
Never.
He will never forsake us.
Never.
But sometimes we gotta drop the right move and have to call Him.
Yeah.
Sometimes we gotta get on our knees and try to say a prayer, right? And that prayer is not to take the pain away necessarily, right? Because that's what we're trying to do. Who wants to be in pain, right? But the prayer should be rather for Him to deliver us through the pain. Because a lot of times God puts pain and difficult circumstances in our life because there's something in that circumstance that we're going to need when we get to the other side, right? So don't deliver us from the pain, but deliver us through the pain so we can get to the victory, right? And so I want to close with a brief, short story that I think emphasizes that point. And it's a story that some of you may have heard it before. I've used it before because it's one of my favorites, and it's entitled A Butterfly. And it says, one day, a man was walking on a nature trail, and he came upon the cocoon of a butterfly. Curious to witness the final stages of this metamorphosis, he kept it and carefully monitored it every day. One day, he noticed a small opening appear. Captivated, he sat and watched the butterfly for several hours as it struggled to force its body through that tiny hole. After a while, the butterfly seemed to stop making progress. It appeared as if it had gotten as far as it could go and it could go no further. So the man decided to help the butterfly. He took a pair of scissors and snipped off the remaining bit of the cocoon. Then the butterfly emerged quite easily. But it had a swollen body and small shriveled up wings. The man continued to watch the butterfly because he expected that at any moment the wings would enlarge and expand and that the body would contract. But neither happened. In fact, the butterfly spent the rest of its life crawling around with a swollen body and shriveled wings. It was never able to fly. What the man in his kindness and his pace did not understand was that the restricted cocoon and the struggle required for the butterfly to get through the tiny opening were God's way of forcing fluid from the body of the butterfly into its wings so that it would be ready for flight once it freed itself from the cocoon. Sometimes, sisters, sometimes struggles are exactly what we need in our lives. If we were allowed to go through our lives without any obstacles, it would cripple us. We would not be as strong as we could be, and we could never fly. And so, sisters, God doesn't put hard hardship in our life to destroy us. He brings or permits difficulty in our life so that it can strengthen us and prepare us to fly. And so I want to leave us with one more thought that we can. There is a verse in the Holy Quran, chapter 2, verse 286, that reads, Allah imposes not on any soul a duty beyond its scope. And the Bible tells us the very same thing. It says in Corinthians, 1 Corinthians 10:13, Paul says, God is faithful, and he will not let you be tested beyond your strength.
Come on.
Now, this is scriptural language, right? But we often say the very same thing in our own way. We say, God don't let one get you. Or he didn't, if he didn't think you could handle it, he wouldn't put it on you, right? So we say this to ourselves, and this is, when we read it, this is scriptural language, or this is something we say to ourselves, but, it occurred to me one day that maybe that's not entirely what that means, right? That it does say that God is faithful and he will not let you be tested beyond your strength. But the other part of that verse says, but when you are tested, he will also provide the way out so that you may be able to endure it. Right? So his promise is not that he will limit or equal our difficulty to our ability to withstand the difficulty. His promise was that he will provide a way out, right? That he will bear the burdens for us. So he told us that we can do all things but with who? With him, right? And so the book, Psalms 55:22 says, cast your cares on the Lord and he will sustain you. Because there is no burden that he can't bear. There are burdens that we can't bear, but there is no burden that he can't bear. Right? So in reality, sisters, he does permit hardships of any degree in our lives, even one the extent of which can overcome us, that can break us. But the mercy is the extent to which we lean on him, is the extent to which our burdens will be lifted. And see, so God has the power to make all things new. We just have to be willing to surrender our burdens to him and to allow him to renew us over and over and over again. And so, as I close, sisters, as the winds of hardship blow in our lives, and they will, right? I want to encourage us to stay connected to the source, to hold on to that lifeline, right? And we're going to do what we have to do. Keep your hands on the plow, keep your feet on the ground, and keep your face to the sun.
Come on.
And I pray, sisters, that God will bless us with his strength and with the light of his understanding, that we can overcome whatever comes in our path. And with that, I thank you so very much for allowing me to speak these few words to you this evening. And I greet you as I came before you in the gracious leading of peace and paradise of Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, ma'am.
Come on, y'all. Come on, let's do this. Let's do this. Now, we got some good stuff. Like Dr. Swift was real sweet with it today. Real sweet. Because this is like part one. She was sweet. Shepton was like rough with it. Right? She came so rough, I guess. Dr. Swift came to let y'all know there's hope. Even in your confusion and in your mess, even with your troubles and your trials, there's always hope. So that's what she came with. But she came letting you know that, baby, it is, yeah, Dr. Shepton said, she was like, look, we crazy, we do some crazy stuff, and we need help. And I said earlier that we're not diagnosed, but we're walking around myself. There she go, our beautiful, brilliant council president, my God sent them out by twos since you want to be scriptural. So sometimes it's me and my Rolly, sometimes it's me and that Rolly, sometimes it's me and First Lady in the Baraka, and that's she got three, father, son, and the baby. So she got the babies, and I don't know where the little girl went, but she wanted to come up here and speak as well. And since we wouldn't give her the mic, we let her take in the back first maybe. But I want to thank these ladies. We're going to invite our council president up, but I truly am excited about this mental health piece. And as I look out, I'm not pointing out anyone, but some of you in this audience have been asking for this. Some have been asking for this meeting. Okay, I look at, I say, I didn't say they're calling out themselves. They said, I know I wanted this. And that's important. What did you say, Stevie? I'm gonna let you come to do that in a minute. But she said she got something. But that CV is important. That CV